I definitely did not restore these wheels. I definitely did not take off the old ones. I did not take off the tires in preparation to restore them. I did not clean my rims so that I could restore them. I did not paint strip my wheels so that I could restore them.
I did not.
Check that out.
This one is actually kind of a depressing video. Alright, now that I've cleared that up, let's get this party started. I could just skip things and go to the part where I get new wheels and tires, but my car build videos have only ever been journals, and journals are most effective for me when I have the full context. So I'm going to go through the gunk, and if you want to skip, that's why I have chapters in my videos. I really wanted to restore the wheels. I also have a limited budget. On my teacher's salary, I can only afford a few $100 to my car projects a month, which is why I've waited so long between the last video and this video. I've been saving money. So, with those constraints and the options of either restoring, rebuilding, or buying new, I'm always going to try the cheapest route. But I also have to factor in my time. I don't know how often I'll end up saying it, but I'm a teacher in the United States. A teacher's time isn't worth a whole lot, but even with that in mind, I found that it was cheaper to go the route I did. I'll explain my process. First is obviously taking care of all the old tires. I took a trip back to my old high school since our auto shop was vacated and the new career academy didn't have proper power to the machines. It was a fun trip to take all three of my kids back to where I spent so many afternoons and nights building the high mileage cars. Getting another lesson from the great Mr. R is always such an amazing opportunity too. So we took out the valve stem cores. Murphy was kind enough to hold the camera for me, and then we took them to the machine so we could get the old tires off. This was all new for me, but you can get better videos about how to do all these things in other corners of the interwebs. After that, we said our goodbyes and drove back to my current high school. The next day, Ezra and I got to work with the restoration process. A 9/16 inch wrench took the valve stem out. Usually you'll see other restorers have to cut out the back of old rubber valve stems. Rubber versus metal valve stems is mainly just preference. Anyway, then we got to cleaning and stripping the paint off the wheels, and this is where the long internal struggle began. Cleaning the rims was all fine and dandy, but I realized that one of the wheels was different from the rest. I chose to start with the rim that had the most rust issue, and it would end up being the easiest one to clean in the long run because every other wheel has the grease in the rim. So I cleaned and degreased. I used Simple Green just because we had some at home, and so I was familiar with it somewhat. There was a ton of old dirt and grime in the backspace portion of the rim, so I spent maybe 2 hours just scrubbing and scraping at that alone. After they were all cleaned up and dry, we took our wire wheel on a drill to the paint, and just pulled on that trigger for maybe another hour before going out to get paint stripper. Then I had to coat the rims with several coats just to get to this point. I can read it now, just use a sandblaster. Thanks, Dale. Hadn't thought of that. So between the primer, paint, wire wheels, degreasers, spray bottles, shop towels, paint stripper, and rubbing alcohol, I had already paid $100 just to get almost the top side done on the easiest wheel. I'm not even counting all the time I put into it, and yes, there are absolutely ways to make this go easier. I get it. So I took a break and made Excel sheets of all the different ways I could make this work, and the easiest and cheapest was to just get a new set of wheels. There are several new things I learned about just by going through the process of buying rims. I had already gone through the process of buying tires for the Probe, and it wasn't that much different this time around, so some things I learned. I started out with a 15 by 10 inch rim, And your tire size is basically 3 numbers, and the last is the diameter of the rim. My rim diameter is 15 inches. 10 inches is how wide or deep or thick, whatever you want to call it, the rim is. The OEM wheel is 15 by 6, which means I don't have the factory set of wheels. So I contacted some friends who were more capable than I was, asking about rims. We landed on a Pro Comp 97 Series 15 by 8 wheel, so middle of the road, and I can still get an OEM sized tire on there with a 235 75 15. Now it was just a matter of where to get them from. The cheapest place I found was through Hi-Fi Motorsports. I got mine at $67 a piece, much cheaper financially and physically than restoring them. I needed the back spacing and hub size for that too, so I have a 5 bolt pattern, and the clearance hole needs to fit over the manual locking hub on the front axles. So the size was a 5 on 5.5 bolt pattern, 5 nuts on a hole diameter of 5.5 inches. The back spacing will determine how far out or in the wheels will be in the wheel well. The 15 by 10 have about 4 inches of back spacing. I chose the 3 3/4 inch rim because that will push out the wheel just a little bit closer to the location we saw with the 15 by 10 rims. Anyway, they got shipped to the house, and then it was just a matter of getting valve stems and tires. Valve stem size was for a .453 inch or 7/16 inch hole in the rim. And the valve stems just say the size on the packaging and all the online shopping options. I got those in by screwing a nut to the top of the valve stem and prying the valves through the hole with a pair of needle nose pliers. So this video is just all about tires and rims. If you were in the same boat as me, you went through the process and discovered buying new wheels and tires was your cheapest option, I would get my rims online. Figure out the rim that you want, one that will be good for your needs. Once you find the rim that you like, then you can start looking for deals. If you're in it just to get the cheapest thing without specifying the rim first, you'll be going down a whole bunch of rabbit holes. Commit to a rim, then get the deal. For tires, I would buy local. I went to Miranda's here in Lafayette, Indiana. They're just a friendly group of people, but also efficient too. My introverted personality likes that element, quick and painless. And from here on out, I'll let the video play while I get new tires put on and we're back on the vehicle. So we're back on the car. I had just gotten the Bronco to run for the first time a few months ago, and I would check it every other week to make sure it fires up. So when I finally got the tires put on, I was super excited to go for a drive. I was super excited, guys. I've just hit a wall with so many other things, and I want to get this done, whatever done means. Anyway, here's a video of what's going on next. It wouldn't start. It wants to start, I can feel it. It's getting spark, it's getting air. But sometime between October and November, the Bronco decided to stop delivering fuel to the engine. Or maybe it's getting to the engine and there's blockage. Anyway, I got some starter fluid and sprayed directly into the throttle body. The accelerator cable is tied to the top, obviously, so I made sure the butterfly valve was open as I was spraying, and here's what that looks like. So it wants to start. It wants it. There's just more that I have to do that I wasn't planning on doing. If you have suggestions, I'm open. The fuel pump makes its healthy sounds, but I'm game to check out anything else. Thanks for watching the journey. I'm sorry this wasn't as fulfilling as a lot of my other videos. Sometimes it's not as exciting, but thanks for watching anyway. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.